Hi guys, welcome back to another Craft With Me video. My name is Maggie for those of you that are new, and today we are going to be doing a folder folio. I haven't done a full-on Tim Holtz inspired project in quite a while, and so I thought let's do one and let's do a folio. I love folios. Those are one of my favorite projects to do. And what inspired me was just kind of going through my supplies that I have. I found these, and these are, again, Tim Holtz, the little folder folios, and I thought, let's make something out of them. And I saw I have 3 different sizes. So I have these, and then I have these, which are a little bit smaller. And then I have this, which is the Vault Noteworthy, and it has the smaller one. So guess what? We're using all 3 sizes, and it's going to be adorable. I went ahead and I made one. I want to do a pink theme with this one. I did a blue one, and I just think that it's going to be so much fun. So I wanted to use my 8x8 Tim Holtz paper, but they just weren't long enough. So I'm going to be using the backgrounds, and I just grabbed from a bunch of different ones, whichever ones had kind of like a pinkish kind of. And so I have these. This one's just a little piece of one. Then I have the floral. I have this one. I have these. So, and then I have this, and you'll see why I want this one for the top. So we're going to make a topper for it. We're going to do all kinds of fun stuff. And I do have ribbon for the closure. And let me show you what we're doing. This is going to be our little folio, and I am obsessed. This, I just kind of added the little eyelet there and pretty much just added this through it so that it kind of wraps around and it ties right at the eyelet. And this actual base is a folder. And then I have a topper on top, and I actually used my JADENS little printer to add. I wanted to pretty much label everything, so I thought it was kind of fun. File folders are labeled, and so here the topper, we have the little journal. So here I have a little journal up here, and then you open this, and here we have notes. And so this one flips up, and then we have our little notepad. And then on this side, I have little file folders. So you can add whatever you want inside. And so I have 2 of them in here. And then see, the folder is the base. And then back here, we have our little file folder of tags. And then I did this. So we have our little girl tag and our little boy tag. And it's just little belly bands. And I thought this was adorable. And of course, using my JADENS, it actually helped. I can use different fonts. I can use different sizes, and this came out to be perfect for this. And I use it a lot just to kind of label my things, but then I thought that this would be a perfect project to actually use it on for those of you that have one or that want to get one. It's adorable. I absolutely love it. I'll link it down below. And again, all the other supplies that I will be using, I will link down below so that you can get your little supply list going if you want to recreate this. And so I'm going to put this off to the side. This one is already fully decorated, so we'll see if we have time to decorate this one. So for right now, I'm going to see which one I want to use as my base. And I think I'm just going to use this one. Or I could use just the plain. Maybe we'll use the plain because either way we're going to put something on top. So we'll use the plain one. Yeah, we'll use the plain one. Okay, we're going to cut this This is already at 6 inches, 6 by 10, I believe. Yeah. And so we're just going to cut 1 inch off. So let me mark that. I'm just going to mark, so it's going to be 9 by 6 is going to be our cover. And then we can use the rest of this as the belly bands for our little tags. So keep all your scraps. And I'm just going to be using my little cutter here. Let me put all my scraps off to the side. And this is going to be our little tool that we're going to be using throughout. And so with this, I want to make the first tab of the actual base. I want it to be on the top. And now if you have these and you want to use these, do it. Go ahead and use these, but I want to show you how you can use, how you can do them without. But because I didn't want to have to cover them and everything, that's why I'm not using them. I'm going to make my own. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to eyeball where I want that top notch to be. And then let's do it about here. So this is, I'm just eyeballing it, guys. And so that's going to be our first tab. So I'm going to corner around here. Actually, I'm going to corner around all of the corners. So on the opposite side of this is the little corner rounder, and then you have the notch on this side. Now normally I bought this one from Amazon. They do sell them at Hobby Lobby, and they come with a you can either buy it solo or you can buy it at Hobby Lobby. They sell it with a little scoreboard, so it's up to you. I will link mine down below in case anybody is interested. But to make that notch and the tab kind of more visible, I'm going to put this right on, and I'm going to leave the little slit here that we have here. I'm going to put it right at the edge of that little notch. So when I do this slowly, I can feel where it stops. And there is our little tab. Cute, right? I think I actually did this the wrong side. Yep, I did it the wrong side. That's okay. We'll do it this way. Because normally if I wanted this to be on the outside, I would have done it the notch on this side. So my bad. But that's okay. We can use this side. Not a big deal. Oh, I didn't corner around this notch. This side. I said the notch. No. Now I'm going to do it kind of close to the edge, not exactly. I want it to have like this little strip here. So I'm just going to leave maybe 1/4 of an inch. Yeah, about 1/4 of an inch little space there. Use my bone folder to crease that down really well. And there is the base. Okay. Now I'm going to be doing the cover. So we're just going to go through all of the file folders that we're going to be making. So let's do the cover and the topper, I mean, and that's going to be, I want it to be this one. I want it to be this one. See how cute that looks on the top? I really like that. And I found this one, which is the little classroom. Doesn't say what year it is. But anyway, okay, let's cut this down. It's going to be 7 3/4 by 5 1/4, and I'll leave all the measurements down below. So I want it to be 7 3/4. So let me mark that. Seven 3/4. I think I'm going to do it this way. Let's mark it this way. 7 3/4 right here by 5 1/4. So I think I'm going to have to chop off their legs. Okay, let's do this first. so I could see what I'm working with. And then we're going to do it this way because I'm going to have to chop off some of their legs by 5 1/4. So we're going to do it right here. So I'm going to need my other. I'm going to need this one. Okay, and this is going to be our little topper. So because I want this to be on the top, I'm going to have to do the notch on this side, but I want the tab to be in the middle. So I'm going to have to do it right here. And again, I'm just going to eyeball where I want that middle and do it about, I don't want it to be too big or too small, so there it is. Okay. And again, we're just going to cut off, make sure that it's nice and even. And slowly, till where you can feel where that little notch is. And I'm going to do it again from the bottom. And there is the little tab for the middle part. Okay. And then again, corner rounding everything. Okay. Now it's going to be like this. See that? And again, I want to leave just maybe 1/4 inch. So like that. See that? And then we'll add an eyelet here, and this is going to be what we're going to use for the closure. So look at that. We're going to add that right at the edge right there. Going to be so cute. I love it. Okay. Then we need to do, we have the back folder, which is going to be back here. So that one we could do with this one, I think. Yeah, let's do this one. And this one's going to be the back folder 7 1/4 by 5. So it's going to be a tiny bit smaller because we're going to put a belly band. So we need to make sure that it fits on the inside. So let's do this one. This is 7 1/4. This one doesn't matter where I cut. So 7 1/4. So let's do that one first. Okay, by 5. So I could do that with this one. Need different cutters for this. Okay. I just cut from the bottom. And then I want it to be like this. So this is going to have, let me see, where did I put it from the top? So we're going to put the tab on the top. So again, just one notch. And do that about here. And then again, oops. Okay. And then we're going to get our little paper trimmer. I'm trying to line it up right at the edge. You want to make sure you do it really slow because if not, you're going to cut into your tab. But there, oops, I always forget this little corner here. Why is that? Oh, you know what? I know why. because I'm doing it before I cut this edge. So that's dumb. Okay. We got it. We got it. Now again, just leaving about 1/4 of an inch from the edge. Okay. And that is going to be for the back. See that? Perfect. Okay. And let's see, we're going to have to cut out a couple of these. And these are going to be the ones that are going to go on the inside for here. So let me cut these out. I have to bring out my big shot for this. So let me cut these out and then we'll be ready to go. I need to see first which paper I want to use. I really like that little pop of blue. I think that's going to be really cute. So that's going to go here. This is going to go here. So on the inside, we have it plain. So I could do the florals. Actually, I think I want the florals for the side. Ooh. I don't know if I can fit 2 on this one. I might be able to fit 2 on this one. Let me see. I'm just gonna mark it to see if it'll fit or not. Nope, it's not gonna fit. Darn it. Okay, well, we're not using that one. So it's gonna have to be this. Okay. So let me cut 2 of these out with my big shot. And I will be right back. I went ahead and I cut down my file folders, and these are just the small ones. Now, if you want to make your own, let me tell you what the measurements would be. These are about 4 and 3/4, and that's including the tab, by a little over 3.5. Okay, so in case you want to make your own. But I went ahead and used my die set that I have, and I've already cut my pockets, and these pockets are going to be 4 1/8 by 1 7/8. And again, I'll have those measurements in the description box in case you want to refer back to that. Now this is going to be our little flap for the notes. And this, I actually made it wider than the actual cover, and that's because we're going to be making the notch on the bottom. So we want to make a tab, so we got to use our little notch punch here and use this for the bottom. And I'm going to do it just again, I'm just eyeballing it. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and cut that part off, and that should bring us back to the measurement that we need to finish this off. I'm going to go ahead and start from the bottom, and then as soon as I feel it free is where I know that that's where my little tab is going to start. And then we're going to go back and corner around the edges just on the bottom. And then I did a score of 1/2 inch. And so this back flap measures, before I cut it, it measured 6 1/4 by 4 1/2. And so this should be, yep, perfect. So this should be right here. And then my little tab should stick out here. Oh, that's going to be pretty, because it has a little pop of yellow, and this is going to have a little pop of blue. So that's going to be beautiful on the cover. Love that. Okay. So now let's go ahead and start. I should have inked everything, but we're not going to worry about that right now. I'm going to start gluing everything down. So let me glue this, and then we're going to go in, once I glue all the pockets down, then we'll work with the paper. Let me get this right where I want it. I want it at the edge because I want it to kind of stick out a little bit. So about there should be good. I do like to ink this part of it just so that I could see where that middle fold is. Yeah, perfect. And then from here, this is going to flip up and then we can put our little notes. And for that, I'm going to be using this. So we'll do that in a minute. But let's just go and I'm going to put, yeah, I'm going to add a little, trying to eyeball the center. Let me do it on both. Wait, make sure that, yeah. Make sure that both sides are facing the direction that I want it for my pocket. And I'm going to eyeball the center and just do one notch in the middle, kind of like for a thumb notch, just to make it into a little pocket. And then we can add that here. I'll add this one. I think I'm going to round this bottom edge here just to match up here. So I'll add that there on the bottom first. And this is for our little mini file folders that's going to go there. And then at the end, we'll label everything. So we'll put that here on the bottom. And then we'll put this one. I kind of like to, because I want that tab to stick out a little bit. So I kind of like to eyeball where this one's going to go. So this should probably go a little bit further up. I think about here is good. So I'm going to mark it just so that I know. And I know that I have a few new subscribers that are new to junk journaling. So when you're going to make a pocket, you want to make sure that you're only doing the 3 sides and you leave the top part open. Sometimes I would forget, and when I first started, it was a little, and so that could go in there. Okay, so we have our 2 pockets. Now you can tell that this one I did a little bit further in, because if not, you might be able to see it. So I wanted to put that just a little bit further in. I should have done the same thing with this one, but it doesn't matter because you can't see it anyway. So there's the pockets for that. And then we want to do a belly band back here. But this one, because it's a lighter color, I was going to do this, but it's the same paper, but I used this. And so I didn't want it to be too same. So I'm just going to ink this and just use the reverse side and put this here. And then I can add maybe like a little fun pink label or something there. So I'm just going to add, this is for a belly band. So I'm just going to add glue on both ends and then try to eyeball the center. Make sure that it's straight. It's good enough. Okay. And now, while that's kind of setting, let me go in with the paper. So I'm just going to measure out where I want to cut. I have this paper, this little notebook came from TJ Maxx, and I love that little hummingbird there. And so I'm going to mark, and I always, for little notebooks, I always have 5 pages. Don't know why. 5 pages is just the magic number for me. But I'm going to add this to our notebook. And because it's thin paper, I'm able to cut through all of the sheets. So let's put this here. Again, start from the top. And I am going to corner around the bottom edges. And then instead of stapling it, what you can do, let me erase this little mark here. You can just put a thin row or what, you know, a little line of glue on each one to keep them together. But I just happen to have this stapleless stapler, and I've used it before, but I absolutely love it. And I'm going to, there. Got to make sure that you put it in all the way. And it just kind of crimps it. See that? And I'm going to do about 3. Make sure that it's in all the way. And last one. See that? It just crimps it. And so it does it on both sides so it stays together. And so with that, I'm just going to add a line of glue to the top. And that will stay put here. Put it right here in the middle. Okay. You can add a little strip of something if you don't want to see that. Or if you're going to be using staples, then you might want to add like a little strip of something on top so you won't see it, but I don't mind it. So there's that. Here are the pockets for this. How cute. I love all the pink. Just something fun. Okay. And now we have to add the papers into, no, this is for our tags. See that? And then we need our papers to go into our little journal for the top. So with that, I have this. And this is just very lightweight. I think it's even thinner than copy paper, but it's double-sided, and it looks like if it's coffee dyed, and I absolutely love it. I like to keep this on hand. And what I'm going to do is, this is just 8.5 by 11. I'm going to fold it, what do they say? Hot dog style? I'm going to fold it, what is it, vertically? And then I am going to mark it where I need to cut. I need this to show a little bit more so I know where that center fold is. And so all I'm going to do, let me put my topper here, or else my glue is going to dry out. Okay, I'm going to put it about here. Yeah, about here. And then this is going to be about here. So I'm going to cut this and then cut that twice. Okay. And then I don't know if it'll cut through all of that, all of those layers. So what I'm going to do is grab my ruler and my craft knife. And then just cut that down. And this is exactly how you would do just a regular journal. Oops. Oops. What's happening? First I started cutting the ruler, and then I started going off. There. save these because you could use these for little labels or something. Okay, put that up there. And then add these in here. So what I did was I used 3 pages and I doubled that up. So we should be good. You know what? I should have done it this way because of course adding that middle, adding it in the inside, it's not going to come out even. So let me just even this out. Okay. Much better. And you can see that that's going to go in here. I wonder if it'll work if I try to corner punch. Ooh, very nice. Now see with this, see that? You want to make sure that you can't see it with this cover because we have that little edge there showing. And so now what I can do, so again, you can sew it, but I just happen to have I have a bunch of these little tools, and so this is from Craftelier, and this is just a fun little thing that I got, and it's a stapler that I can staple anywhere. So let's do it this way because I want it to go this way. And then we have this little guide, and my guide actually has little arrows on it. Do you see those? And that's going to tell me where exactly my staple is going to go. So let me just kind of maneuver this a little bit. So like that, I know exactly where it's going. And so then I know to put it at the very edge. So hopefully, I think that's about right. And it has magnets, and I actually put, yep, perfect. I actually put pink staples in it. It's got a match. Okay, now let's turn it around, and then we're gonna do it again. So just move this, move that, put a little bit further here, make sure that this is right where it's supposed to be. I think that's about right. Yeah. Okay, so again, perfect. And now I'm just going to use my little, I love that little thing. I don't use it enough, but I really like it. Let me just use my pliers to kind of push this down a little bit. It's not going to reach to the other one, but at least if I get one side, then it's easier for me to flatten the other side. It keeps wanting to turn on me, but there, I got it. Okay, let me use my tweezers just to kind of press down that other side. Oh, this one's, come on. There, okay. And there, my friends, is our little journaling folder. Love that. Then let's go ahead and do the eyelet. And I'm going to use, actually, I'm going to use my bigger one. I'm just using, this is just the standard size hole punch. And I'm going to use this to put right here. Because my eyelets that I'm using, I got from Temu, and I love these because they're a little bit bigger. So they're perfect to add like a ribbon in the inside, and then it has these washers, and so the back makes it with these washers, it makes it flat, and I absolutely love them. Don't know if I'll be ever ordering from Temu again, but my gosh, I hope you can't hear my stomach. It's growling. Okay. Set that. See, look at how fun that looks. See, I love that. And there is our eyelet for our closure. Okay, now we can add this to the front here. We're going to add it like that. So let's go ahead and glue it. I'm going to glue the whole thing down. You can do just like two sides. You can do like if you wanted a top pocket or a side pocket here, you could do that. I'm not going to. I'm just going to go ahead and glue it all down. So again, let's see where this is. I want it right at the edge so that that tab can stick out. I'm going to see if I can lower that just a tiny bit. That's good. I want that tab right in the middle. And I love that it has the 3 colors. So that's going to look super cute. And then, there it is. We just need to add our little, let me add ink in here. We need to add our belly bands for this, and then we can add the little, let me see, what do we want to do? We can add our tags on the inside. I have this one. Maybe we'll add florals on the inside of this. So let me mark this. Let's see, do I have enough for the other side? Yeah, perfect. I could just do the yellow just to give it a pop of color. But let's see. We'll put that about here. Cut this. And then I want it about 1.5 inches. Ooh, perfect. It is 1.5 inches. So there's that. And then this one, I don't know if it's going to be the same size, so let's mark this. And then again, about 1.5 inches. So that's about here. Should we do this way? Yeah, let's do it this way. I just want to ink. Did I add notches to the, I don't think I did. To the inside, no. Oh, this is thinner. I think do I want it thinner? What is that, like 1 inch? Not even. 3/4. Should we do it thinner? Let's do 1 inch. We'll make it 1 inch. I just have to hold it down because otherwise it's going to slip out. Okay. There. We'll do it 1 inch. I just want to ink these edges here. So we could do that, and then I think, does it go this way? Yeah. Does this go this way? Yeah. Okay. Adding a line of glue here for the tags. And then we're going to do the same thing on this one. Trying to make it same. Okay, that looks good. And then this strip actually came from our mini file folders. So I think we're gonna make these into our little tags. So it's just a bunch of cutting, guys. That's all it is. So let's do this about here. And then we'll put this at 2 inches. They're gonna be little tags. And then again, this one, I wanna make them the same size. So let's put this here, right here. And then again, 2 inches. Come on. Okay. There it is. We're going to round the bottom corners. Actually, all 4 corners. Because what we're going to do is we're going to make tabs to go on the top of these. It's all about the details, guys. Okay, and I'm going to be using this, my tab punch. We could do blue. I'm just looking at all my scraps to see. I could probably do this. I don't know if 2 will fit on this one. No. I want it to fold over, so it's gonna have to be this. So guess what? We're using blue. So I'm gonna fold this over. It doesn't have to be perfect. This is just a piece of scrap that we had left over. And I'm going to punch. I need to make sure that I don't go all the way to the top. And punch 2. Now again, if you don't have a punch, all you need to do is cut pieces, and then you can just cut it at an angle. And this is going to give us our little tabs right on top. Perfect. Let me just ink this. And then we'll add our glue to the bottom part here. Get this even on top. Okay, that's good. And then add the rest of the glue and glue it down. And here is number 1, and here is number 2. Gotta make sure it's right side up. Do this side. Put that about here. Make sure it's even. And then add the rest of the glue and put this down. There it is. It's all about the tabs. There is our little folder with the tabs. Tabs, tags, there it is. Shall we label everything? I went ahead and I used my JADENS and I did all of the labeling already. So let's just cut these out. And the journal. Okay. So the journal goes here on the front, and this is just finishing it off. Let me get my tweezers for this. And we're going to put journal here. Trying to stick it a little bit under the eyelet. And then I'm going to rub it in with my ink because we don't want it white. See that? You could still see it. And then files is for the inside. Folder is going to be here. So I'm cutting one side because the other side has this little edge here to where it's easier to peel. And so I like to just do it one side so it's easier for me to peel the back off. And then we're going to do folder here. And then again, just adding a little bit of ink to it. Then this is notes, and I should have done 2 notes. I did it on the other one, but I want it to show on the inside and the outside. So, but because I have the app connected to my phone, I had to print those out ahead of time. Okay. Notes. See, I wanted to put notes here too, so I'll have to add that later. But this is files, and files I did do twice. Yeah. So we'll add files. And this is just a fun little extra step. This is going to be a long video. So we're not gonna, I'm not gonna decorate this one with you on the video. I'll probably decorate it later and then just add it to my Instagram. Okay. And then we're gonna do tags because this is our little file folder of tags. I feel like we've been getting so many packages lately. I hear somebody outside dropping off packages. And then again, we'll do boy and girl. I could have done 2 girls on this one because it's all pink, but guess what? Boys like pink too, right? Yep, I heard them going off. Girl. And boy. And then we'll do a quick run through to show how everything is going to look once it's done. There. Okay. We are finito, my friends. So let's go ahead and put this in here. Move all of this out of the way. These are the stickers. Put this back in here. Let's show the little tags. Tab tags. And then add this. Some of you said that you miss my longer videos. Well, guess what? Surprise. So here we will have this, but let me show you first and then we'll wrap it up. So here is the final result. We have our journal on top as the little topper, stapled at the edge, and then we have everything labeled. So let's open this. We have our notes here. I need to put the little notes tab. Oh, I do have one. I do have one. Let me just add it really quick because it needs to be there. You need to see how it looks with it there too. Oh no, I was gonna cut it. This needs to go, wait, this has a little bit of a longer edge. This needs to go here. Perfect. There. Okay. Then I'll decorate all of this, but then we have our notes. We have our files that you can add little fun stuff into. We have both of them here. And then we have our tags with their tags in there. And then once we wrap it up with just, I just have this silk little, this satin ribbon. And I'm just going to tie it right at the edge here where that eyelet is. And there we go. And then this one is already done. I showed you this one. So let's do this one again. So you can see them both side by side. I absolutely love this little, I mean, literally, I need to think of a cool name to name this with all of the file folders in here. Our little file folder folio. But look at that. Absolutely adorable. I think that they're so much fun. I might make more this weekend. But that is it, you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share all that jazz. And I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. We're going to be finishing up the series of the journal that we're making from start to finish. And so you don't want to miss it because we're going to be doing the cover. And that should be the last of that. And that is it, you guys. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. And again, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, all that jazz. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.